Hi and welcome back to my channel. My name is Erica. Today is launch day for our May toppers of the month. If you're new to my channel, we are releasing monthly quilt and stitch along projects. This is, I think, our 4th year. We started out with trucks of the month, houses of the month. Last year we did pillows of the month, and this year we're doing table toppers of the month. So they're a lot of fun. They're usually pretty beginner friendly, a great way to dig into your stash and get rid of some of those scraps you've been hanging on to, and a perfect way to decorate your home for each month. Before we start with today's patterns, I did want to mention that we do still have May stickers of the month. We actually have all 12 months available in our store, so if you didn't grab the May stickers last year, we do still have some left, so if you're interested, head over and check those out. They're super cute and a lot of fun. They're perfect for water bottles, laptops, guitar cases, anything that you want to put them on. They're high quality vinyl stickers, so they're great for all of those projects. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look. We're going to go ahead and start May off with our Stitchy pattern. So here is what the May Stitchy flower looks like. I did 2 different flowers. I did a smaller pink one and then a larger orange one. I'm loving the orange and pink combo these days. I don't know why, but I think they look really cute together, but you could make these any color you want. And as a matter of fact, if you like purple, I normally do purple for my May. I just didn't want to add in a random blob of purple into this pattern because I didn't have it anywhere else. So I just went ahead and chose a couple colors that were already used throughout the 12 months so that they would all match a little bit better. But these little flowers are super easy to do. I did this one in an evening while I was just hanging out with my family, and I think we were watching TV. And then I use my Stella light. It doesn't quite fit on here very good, but this is a perfect light. This is what I use in the evening, and then when you turn it on, and then when you use it in the evening, you can just put it right over your lap, and then it lights up your area, but it doesn't bother the people around you. So I love this light, and that's what I use in the evenings when I'm stitching. I am stitching on the 14 count Ada by Charles Craft. This is in the platinum colorway. I really like this colorway. It's just a nice beige neutral color. And then I am using all DMC floss. I'm out of my red, so I need to go and get red. The pattern does have all of the colors that you need listed in the pattern, and then for each individual pattern I have little asterisks next to the one that I use so that you can get the floss just for that one if you just want to do that one pattern. The patterns do come with 2 charts. The first chart has the individual pattern for like just the flowers, and it also has the whole cloth version if you are wanting to do it like I am. Now in previous years I've always finished mine individually. It's a little bit easier to show on camera and it gives you finishing ideas. So if you need finishing ideas, you can always head back and check out any of those. I also have a few cross stitch finishing for other projects here on YouTube as well if you need ideas on how to finish, and there are instructions on how to individually finish them in the pattern like I mentioned. Since I am doing the whole cloth, I will show you at the end of this series how I'm going to be finishing our whole cloth version. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I haven't ever done the whole cloth. I've always just done individuals, so I thought it'd be fun to do the whole cloth version this time around. Okay, that's it for the Stitchy version. Let's go ahead and take a look at the May Quilty version. Okay, so previously we have been doing square table toppers, but for May I really wanted to do those tulips, and so I ended up doing a rectangular shaped table topper because I just thought it fit the motif a little bit better. I did try and fit it into a square, but I just couldn't come up with anything I liked. So instead I came up with this, and so we have got cute little jars or vases holding our scrappy tulips, which I think is so fun. I did different colors for all of the leaves because again, I am like digging into my scraps here. All of the jars are different colors. And then if you'll notice, I did do my tulips the same because I had enough to just make all the pink ones the same and the red ones the same. And also it was just a little bit easier when I was cutting. But you could literally make these all completely scrappy and have a lot of fun with it. And then my lids for my jars, I have 3 darker ones and 3 lighter ones, but again, you can do whatever you like. So I thought this was a really fun idea. I love that it's rectangular shape. It fits my table perfectly, and I figured some of you guys might also have a rectangular shaped table that this would work on. The other thing you can put this on are entryway tables. Anything with this rectangular shape would be really cute as like a display. So the fabric from this is all a mix of my previous lines. I used a lot of my new So Quilty line because I had used my bloom fabric on my actual So Quilty quilt, which is right here on the ladder behind me. And since I didn't get to use my So Quilty fabric on that pattern, I've been having a lot of fun using it on upcoming patterns. So I just thought it would be fun to put it in here. And then because I am using my scraps and leftovers, I also did a pieced backing. I'm really having a lot of fun with this, and I did put the instructions for my pieced backing in the pattern, but you can just do a solid backing if you prefer. So here's what I did. I ended up taking 2 strips of this is the backing fabric for the So Quilty quilt, and then I added that navy blue strip in between. And then I added that quilt label, which I'll show you in a second, in between. So it's really just 3 strips of fabric. I sewed those together, made sure it was large enough for my quilt to fit on, and then went ahead and quilted it and then trimmed it down. So I think it actually turned out really cute. I love doing pieced backings now. These are quickly becoming one of my favorite things because it makes the backside just as pretty as the front and just a little bit more, you know, fun to look at. Not that you're going to be looking at the backside a whole lot, but still when you pick it up, it's like a nice little surprise back there. And then I also did a label on the backside as well. This is from my Sweetwater tagged subscription. And I mentioned in the last video, but I'm out of my little tiny ones that I usually stick up in my binding. So they are on order, but I didn't have any. And since I did the pieced backing, I thought it was a perfect spot to do a framed label. So I do have a tutorial on how I add labels to projects like this. I added this label before I quilted it. After I did that, I'm thinking I should have added the label after I quilted it because you can see so many of those stitch marks. They really, you know, kind of made holes in that label, and I don't love that look. So I think if I do this again, I will add the label after I do the quilting. I think it will just look a little bit nicer than having all of that quilting on top of the label like that. But it's there now, so it's going to stay. I did frame my label with 2 different colors of fabric just to make it stand out a little bit. And like I said, I do have a whole video on how I do that here on YouTube. And then the binding for this one I used is my green gingham. This one was from my Bloom collection. I had some of that left over. And the other thing I did was I wanted to do something else as far as quilting goes, just because this is a little bit of a larger piece. I didn't want to do my standard like meander with or loops or whatever. I wanted to do something a little bit more dense. I usually load my project onto my machine and then I stare at it for a few minutes, and then I usually will get out a piece of paper and a pen, and I just start doodling and trying to think of something that would look good on here. And I ended up doing this little, I think they're called clam shells, but basically you can see one right here. There's just a little loop, and then I just go back around that loop and back around that loop, and then I'll come out and do another one. And I just keep building those on top of each other and just adding them wherever they fit. And then if you ever get stuck, like right here, I just was doing a loop and I kind of got stuck, you can just come down and just echo and get yourself back out, and then you can start off and keep going again. So this is a really fun pattern. It does make a much denser quilted fabric, and the denser the quilting, by the way, I feel like the less soft the quilt is. So usually on my larger quilts, I will do a little bit looser quilting because I want it to be soft and cozy. But for things like wall hangings or table toppers, I don't actually care. So that's when I sort of have fun doing that denser quilting. And the key to doing dense quilting like this is to not leave big gaps anywhere, because people, when they look at this, won't notice. They'll just kind of see the overall pattern. They won't notice if you messed up your pattern at all. But what they will notice is if there's like a huge chunk right here where there's no quilting at all. So you don't want to have big open spaces. That will really stick out. And I know it looks a little bit more complicated than it is, but it really isn't. So I highly recommend you guys giving it a try. And maybe instead of experimenting on your finished project, just take some fabric, batting, and fabric so that make your little sandwich, do like a 12 by 12 square, and then just have fun practicing on there. I also recommend practicing with pen and paper first. And I just hold my paper flat, put my pen straight up and down, and go, and just try not to lift up your pen. And I will say that don't let that discourage you though, because for whatever reason, I am way better drawing with my sewing machine than I am with a pen. So on pen and paper, I'm drawing and it usually doesn't look great, but as long as I can get the rhythm down, I will go ahead and try it on my sewing machine, because for some reason on my sewing machine, my brain and hands all work better together, and I actually do a lot better with that. And so my quilting looks a lot better than my drawing. So don't let your drawing discourage you, but if you're worried about it, make sure to try it on a little sample quilt sandwich first and then work on your project. So that's it for the May Stitchy and Quilty patterns of the month. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to join our Sew With Me group on Facebook. I will put a link on where you can get to that below. We have a lot of people in there and everybody's posting their progress and finishes there. It's really fun to see other people's color combos and what everyone is working on. So make sure you join there. We're having a lot of fun. And also, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to my channel. You can also hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of my upcoming videos. That's going to be it for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you in the next video. All right, so here is our May. I'm gonna have to do this on the table, I think. So here's our May Stitchy. I went ahead and did, oh, you can't see that very well. I actually did a piece, oh, I'm just probably rubbing this. So if you're new to my channel, we have been releasing